Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna learn how to handle errors. I hope you enjoy, and let's begin coding. So, let's create a new Python file by right-clicking and new Python file, and let's name this error handling. So, let's understand error handling. Error handling is basically handling an error. So, the way it's done, the reason it's done, is to make an error message more prompt, not just red text that, most people can't understand, but that's the point of it. You don't want the red text to be confusing and stuff. So, let's start off by showing an error. So let's type a basic type error. So just print 1 plus 1. Now you can see that this is in strings, and this is a string because it's in quotes, and this is an integer because it's just a number. And you can't really add them because they don't add. So let's just run this, and you'll see a type error occur. So that's can only concatenate string, not int. Robot error, kind of basic, not basic, kind of confusing. You don't really know anything except for the line and probably the whole path to the file. But that's basically it. You kind of don't get a nice to look error message. So if this was to be a user, if this is a big project and the user accidentally, instead of a integer, enters a string. For example, in my inputs exercise over here, this is by default a string. But what if we have to make it an age? What if it has to be int and then, so let's just try this. I'll int this. And now if I run it, you'll see that if I enter anything but the integer, I'll get an error. So if I enter hello, that's not how I spell hello, but you'll just see value error because you can't convert it to an integer. So that's if there's an error, something like if this was not your name, this is your age, and someone just types 1969 in words and you're like, no. So what would you do? Error handling. So let's just quickly undo all our changes to this. I don't want to ruin the project. And let's begin error handling. So now to handle an error, we add a try block and indent whatever causes the error in this. Now if we indent it and then type except, because we have to, and it expects it. So this is basically a try and except. So a try says that try this code, and if there's an error, which is except, do whatever's below except. So let's add another colon, and let's type in print, and error occurred. So just type something like that. So I'll quickly type an error occurred. And error occurred. So now if we run it, you'll see an error occurred because it does. And over here you can see a small white underline. This says that this is too broad. It has to be a specific error to make it according to PEP 8 or something. So if I type except type error, which if you had seen that this is a type error, let's run it, and you'll see that this would say an error occurred. But if this was to be something like a value error, which happened in our inputs .py, if you run it, you'll see it won't handle it at all. So in that case, we can handle more than one. So let's type except again, and then type error, and then over here, let's just print type error occurred, and over here we can type value error occurred. So if I run it, you can see It says type error occurred over here because this is a type error. So the value error is something like int, and then something that's not an integer, it's a string, and FSD has no numeric value. If we run it, you'll see value error occurred. And that's because the interpreter goes line by line, and it sees that this line has an error, and it finds an except block because of the try over here, and it finds value error, and it prints it. So this does not get run at all. So that's why we don't see the type error also. So these are two examples of errors, and there are a lot of errors. And this could be especially useful for handling those errors and showing a more reasonable error that the user can actually understand instead of red lines. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.